Hi guys, Dave here for Brian and Hove Guitar Lessons. If you're a beginner, I know it can be difficult to know where to start on the guitar, so I've put together this video to act as a broad overview. In this video we're going to be looking at how to tune the guitar, what the names of the strings are and how to remember them, and some of the component parts of the instrument. But you'll also find in the description I've linked videos which are tutorials on the 10 songs I teach all of my students first, and they're actually in difficulty order. So you can treat this video as like a jumping off point. As soon as you've finished watching this video, you can dive straight into the tutorial on the Beatles, Eleanor Rigby, and you're going to find that the two chords that you tackle there, E minor and C, we're going to build on those chords throughout each lesson. So every time you start a new song, you're going to be learning maybe one or two new chords and maybe a slightly more complex technique. Each of those songs tutorials is going to lead you through right up to number 10, Jimi Hendrix, Hey Joe, which is a great song for beginners and intermediate players. So if you're ready, grab your guitar, let's get stuck into it. Okay, so the first thing that we need to learn on the guitar is how to remember the names of the 6 strings. And to do that, we're going to use a mnemonic. Okay, a mnemonic is basically just an easy way of remembering random information like the names of the strings. So here we're going to go Eddie, 8, dynamite, goodbye, Eddie. E-A-D, G-B-E. And those are of course the names of the notes that these strings are tuned to. So if you're looking to tune your guitar up, I'll give you the pictures of those notes now. Here's the low E string. Here's the A string. Here's the D string. Here's the G string. Here's the B string. And finally the top E string. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the numbered strings system, which you will probably encounter online very quickly. So some people will refer to the strings, instead of by the names of the notes that they're tuned to, they'll call the 6th string, the 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string and 1st string. I don't really like that system. There's a number of reasons that I won't go into here, but I prefer to refer to the strings by the name of the note they're tuned to. So it's really important that you can remember the names of those notes, and also in all of my videos you just need to know what I'm talking about. So let's go through that mnemonic again. Eddie, 8, dynamite, goodbye, Eddie. Before we carry on, I recommend that you just pause the video and you go through that mnemonic 3 times in your own time. You can even test yourself by picking a string at random, like this one, and going, what string is it? Eddie, 8, dynamite, good. It's the G string. Okay, and then we're going to look a little bit at the component parts and how they work. So the component parts of a guitar. I'm using an electric guitar just because that makes it much easier for me to get the sound directly into my computer. But obviously you might have an acoustic guitar at home. They're basically identical. The difference is that an acoustic guitar has a hole in the middle and that amplifies the strings, whereas an electric guitar has magnets under the strings called pickups, and those pickups translate the sound of the guitar into a signal that I can put through pedals or through an amplifier or into my computer. So let's start at this end of the guitar. We've got the headstock and by extension the neck, which kind of makes sense. You'll hear people talking about the fingerboard or the fretboard. That just means the front of the neck. This is the nut. Okay, the nut is a piece of plastic that holds the string in place so that it will ring out like this. Okay, these guys, they're often called machine heads, but you can also just call them tuners. If you call them tuners, people will know what you mean. The strings go through the body or through the bridge of the guitar right to the other end, and then they wrap around the post up here. Now, I've already given you the pitches for tuning your guitar. Normally, turning the tuner head away from you is going to tighten it, and turning it the other way towards you is going to loosen it. That being said, I've seen quite a few students who have accidentally restrung their guitar backwards, so you just got to use your ears really. When you are tightening it, it's going to go up in pitch, and when you're loosening it, it's going to go down in pitch. So try to match the pitches of the strings that I played to you, and just have a little play around. I should also say you can download a free app on almost any smart device that will tune your guitar, but do that. But you just need to understand the basic mechanics of spinning it around and all that stuff. Okay, so we've talked about the strings, the headstock, the neck. These metal bars are called frets, and what these frets do is they actually control the pitch of the instrument. So if we were playing like a cello, for example, cellos don't have frets. So what would happen is, when I moved up and down the string on the cello, I'd get a smooth movement, kind of like that. But you can hear, even if I'd move quickly, you can hear that there's little stop-starts in between, and that's actually the sound of me running over the frets, okay? So if I do that really slowly, here I am on fret 1. This is actually the pitch of F, okay? And if I move up to the next fret, you're going to hear that the sound goes up in a step. That step is called a semitone. Okay, so if I move one step up, one semitone up, all I have to do is go to the next fret. One step up, one step up. If I go 2 semitones down, that's the same as a tone. You'll hear the sound of a tone there, quite a big gap. Okay, and when we're playing the frets, we normally play just behind. So you're going to find that if you play back here, like here I'm playing quite close to the nut, for example, it sounds rubbish, right? So the closer I get to the fret, the better. So when we ascend up the guitar or descend, we move our finger right behind the fret, like that. Okay, good. So semitones and tones are kind of a term that you'll come across quite a lot. So all we're talking about there at this stage, you just need to understand that semitone is 1 fret and a tone is 2 frets. And that could be going up or going down, right? So if I'm going up a tone, like here I am on the 1st fret, if somebody said, I want you to go up a tone, they mean go forward 2 frets. And if they want you to go down a tone, they mean go backward 2 frets. Okay, that way. Good stuff. Okay, so I'm not going to go through really the controls of the electric guitar side of things, because if you have an electric guitar, you probably understand how the controls work anyway. But this part of the guitar is called the bridge. You can rest your hand on the bridge or on the body of the guitar. In fact, I recommend it because you need to be in quite a rested position while you're playing. And usually the strings go through the bridge or through the body and then through the bridge. I think that's kind of all you need to know at this stage. You'll see that I'm using a pick. There it is. Okay, I'm using a little pick. Some people use big picks. There's no kind of hard and fast rules with picks, whether or not you want to use them. They're also called plectrums. But I like to use a pick, always have done. If you prefer to use fingers, that's absolutely fine. In terms of holding the pick, a really good cue is to take the pointy end, grab it in your thumb and first finger on your fretting hand, your non-strumming hand. In this case, that's my left hand. And then I hold the pick out like that. I put my thumb up, I grab it, and I just take it. Okay, and then you'll see that it's coming out at 90 degrees from my hand. So then I can kind of get the elbow of my arm grabbing the guitar body. It's not really swinging around, and then I can just strum it. Or I can just pick it. Now, learning how to orient your right or your strumming and picking hand, it's going to take a little while, so don't be too hard on yourself if that takes some time. But as long as you're resting Like if you rest here, then you're unlikely to get too lost too early on. Okay, good stuff. So the next thing we want to talk about is just how to hold the guitar. So I have this cue that I use with a lot of students, which is my hand over here. Imagine you're levitating the guitar. So you can probably see on the video there, if you just look at my left hand under the neck of the guitar, it's gonna look like I'm making the guitar float. Obviously that's an illusion because the guitar is resting on my knee and my arm is kind of holding it in place. But I see a lot of beginners like losing control of the guitar when it's moving around like this. So we want to have it kind of pretty well gripped with the kind of leg and the arm here. But the hand should just be able to float underneath. The thumb of this hand is going to find a resting place somewhere in the middle of the neck, okay? And then the fingers are going to come underneath and curl onto the fretboard, okay? So we're not going to use flat fingers when we play. We're going to curve them round. Great, so that gives you an overview of how to hold the guitar and how to strum the guitar. And now we just need to get stuck into our first lesson. So follow the link. Let's take a look at Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.